Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant. And once again, we're on the set of the short film Honor Among Thieves out at the Eves Movie Ranch in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm delighted to introduce you to Sara Strick. Sara is in charge of social media at Precision Camera and Video. But that's not why I have you here. I have Sara here because today I wanted to do an episode of What Were You Thinking? Now, Sara and I met just a few days ago on the shuttle from the Albuquerque airport.
It was amazing. There's this white stuff called snow, I guess, which I don't normally get to see in Austin, so that was pretty cool.
The thing that's so interesting when you come out to an inherently creative, collaborative environment is that you are constantly surprised and delighted by people that you meet. In this case, I knew that Sara was the social media manager. I knew that Sara enjoyed photography. I didn't know she was an extraordinary photographer. But you are. You are. And that's why she's on. In fact, I want to ask you about one photograph in particular that you shot the other night. It was with one of the leads on this film. And what struck me is that you had a wider vision. I was shooting at the same time and I chose to take a narrow vision, but what you did with this image, the question that I have for you is, what were you thinking as you composed that shot?
I think instinctively my brain looks for alternative ways to view things when there might be something, I guess, more obvious in front, you know? We were shooting, obviously, a really wonderful, amazing silhouette. And of course, that's like the money shot, right? You know, that's just beautiful frame, especially if it's vertical. But I'm always kind of looking, and I think this is because a lot of my background of personal photography is in concert photography, where it's a very minimal amount of time and you're forced to find a way to separate yourself from how other shooters look, you know, and think. And I'm a big context person, so I thought, you know, in taking a step back that could be just as impactful, but then allude to more of the story and where we were, you know. And then of course there's like just the geometry of it, the leading lines and everything that kind of just stood out pretty instinctively. So, you know, I shoot very impulsively, but, you know, I feel like I do, but at the same time.
Well, it's interesting because what you described is exactly what I saw. And that's really what flipped me out. There was the obvious shot. I actually took an obvious shot.
I don't mean that in a bad way, because it's beautiful. It's like the money, you know what I mean?
No, but I would take exception to that. I would say that's not the money shot. I think yours is the money shot. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I think you know that. I'm putting you on camera because I think that shot is amazing. It's not a shot that would have occurred to me. I'm learning something from this. I will think about context. I have a very particular way of seeing things, and it's typically not for this kind of thing at all. So I learned a lot from you. But you were shooting with a particular focal length, and I know you love that. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I was shooting with the 35 1.4 on my Sony a7R III, and that focal length, I mean, that lens is fantastic, but in every system I've ever owned, 35 is just, I can do anything.
The 35 millimeter full frame equivalent if you're on like a Fuji or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, one of my favorite cameras was the X100, and that camera just like spoke to my heart because it's what I love baked in. So, and I truly believe that focal length, if you're brave enough to get close, you know, and step away and just be creative with how you position yourself, you can really make absolutely any type of image.
That is a really great point. I was discovering that on the streets of New York with a 40 on a full frame camera. It ended up being so that I was at precisely the distance that I wanted to be in relation to the person that I was filming, and yet still get the context. Even if it was a wide open aperture, you still got the sense of the city from it. And you can step a little bit further back, and still you're not gonna have to blow it up, so you can change the distortion that you get from the perspective. So yeah, spot on.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And it's funny you bring up a 40 because I recently got a chance to get my hands on 40 for the first time, and I had never tried shooting with a 40. And I was like kind of thinking like, man, am I more of a 40 person? I think 35, I still like the little bit wider, but the thing that's cool about the 40 is I love that the distortion is between the two. even less, and it's
That's right.
noticeable.
That's
but
right.
there's still the context.
Exactly.
You know, which
exactly.
was pretty phenomenal. No matter
Yeah.
how close or how far away, it was still, the distortion was minimal.
And on an APS-C censored camera,
Mm-hmm.
that means you go from 23 to 28. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Crazy birds.
Wow. Well, Sarah, thanks so much for being part of Three Blind Men and an Elephant. Really wonderful photography. You are a photographer quite apart from social media work at Precision Camera and Video.
Yes.
So if
Yeah.
people want to see your work, where would they go?
So I have a website, sarahmarjorie.net, and my Instagram.
And your Instagram is?
Sarah Marjorie. So
Okay.
I'm consistent.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Branding.
Yes. For Three Blind Men and an Elephant out in Santa Fe, New Mexico, I'm Hugh Brownstone. See you next time.